explain his nickname, that why his name is a Big Daddy Ready, because he played Nodo Lanlams more than any factions. And as for myself, I am the defender of non-humans because I probably played the Nodo Lanlams the least. And I think it's my least favorite faction. And out of all the games I
That's
played, yeah,
that's
Skellige,
disgusting.
yeah, yeah, Skellige and Stellabrate. I mean, and Skellige and Monster Scoia'tael comes close first and second. Then Monsters play a lot of Nilfgaard, but I don't play Noodle Realms at all. Okay, I'm gonna put the voice sound a bit low on the Stellabrate, and we are going to try to adjust as we go. All right. So Stellabrate, could you explain our card rating system?
So we're gonna go over all the cards, neutral. We're even gonna go over the Scumatel cards, and we're gonna go from commons all the way to legendaries. So all the bronzes and whatnot first, and the silvers, and then the golds. And we're gonna give the cards a rating of 1 through 5. And basically, one is like meme status, or why does this card exist. Two is it has potential. It probably needs a buff, but maybe in the future, maybe if they tweak the numbers. Three is probably an average card for specific archetypes. You might see it played here and there in certain decks. It'll be definitely archetype dependent. Four is a strong card, which you'll probably see a lot. And then five is like an auto include or like a broken card, in our opinion.
So basically, think of card number five as like a muzzle, and think of card rating zero as a card like Ice Giant, which barely sees no play whatsoever of that nature. And if a card has a good meme potential, we'll give it 1 star. All right. So starting with the neutral Wyvern Shield special item, boost a unit by the base power of a bronze or silver unit in your hand. You take?
I think this card could probably be maybe like like a three. It's archetype dependent, right? There's tutors that have been introduced that can bring out items, and if you're playing, and here's the thing. So it doesn't say if it affects gold. I don't think it'll affect golds because if Wyvern Shield affected golds, it would be absurd. You look at. I know we're jumping a little bit ahead here, but if you look at a card like Olaf, which is a gold 20 base strength card, there's no
Yeah.
way that they're gonna allow it to affect golds. So I'm
Yeah,
I'm
so
thinking.
that's why it
Go
says
ahead.
boost the base power of bronze or silver, so I guess golds are excluded already.
Oh, it says bronze or silver. I didn't see
Yeah,
that. I'm looking at the
yeah.
Plague Gwent thing.
Okay.
Um. Okay. Yeah, it does. Sorry, I should be looking at the Twitch chat. I was actually on the Plague Gwent page. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this card could be included in maybe like high base strength decks like Skellige, and they could play it. Might be able to play it with that new card that tutors out items, the Clan Protector.
Yeah.
So I give it a 3 star. I think it's archetype dependent.
Okay, as for me, I'll give it 2 stars. Let me see the numbers go here. Yeah, because it's a boosting, right? Instead of strengthening, and boosting can be easily countered by reset and a direct removal. And as we know, Geralt Eden is going to be a thing, right? And boost the unit by a base power of bronze or silver. So the max potential for this card would be like a 12 points strength in a bronze. And when you're getting 12 strengths, conditional, strengths on the board as a bronze card, I don't think it's going to be good enough in the new meta. And besides, you are not always gonna get the 12 points. So yeah, and we already have a lot of bronze cards that buff the board by like 12 points, right? Like Markham Ales and Strength in Potion, and I don't know what it's called, but right top of my head. And just focusing all that buff on one single unit sounds a bit risky to me, so I'll give it 2 stars. All right,
That's fair.
let's move on to the next one. Peasant Militia Tactics Special. We are the militia. We keep the peace. Fill a row with peasants. That's one angry looking mob right there. You don't want to get lynched by them. Yeah, alright. Celebrate. Your take.
I think this card's hard to rate, right? We don't know the road limit. So I can't really effectively. This is one of the cards that we've been introduced to that I can't really effectively rate. It maybe it has some synergy with Boulder, maybe it has some synergy with like a few of the other cards that have been introduced, but until we know the row limit and everything like that, it's kind of hard to say um, whether or not this card will be good. So
So
I reserve my rating for this card at least until we know the rest of the cards in the row limit.
alright, so Stellabrate reserves the card rating, and I'll just as for me, I'll say 3 stars because it probably synergizes with swarm buffing cards like Commander's Horn, and yeah, and it might be like a 8 to 10 strengths, depends on how many units can be filled onto the row. I suspect 8, because 10 sounds an awfully lot, and yeah, and should be interesting. Yeah, nothing much to say after other than that. Okay, let's move on. Speaking of Boulder, special organic. Okay, how is a rock organic, man? Use a common sense CDPR. I don't know. I don't get this text, man.
Dude,
How is a Boulder organic?
rock lives matter, okay?
Oh man, maybe there's some alien bacteria on it or some shit like that. I have no clue. Alright,
Yeah.
yeah. Someday when you're older, you could get hit by a boulder. Like, I don't get this flavor text. It's supposed to be a joke. Someday when you're older, you could get hit by a boulder.
I think it's from some like movie or some TV show or something that
Yeah.
was like popular. I don't really know, but hey, it's cool.
I don't get the
Gotta watch
reference,
out for
man.
boulders.
Yeah. Okay, deal 7 damage to an enemy and move it to the row above. If the row is full, destroy the enemy instead. And I'm not swarm, swim confirmed that Arjo Thunder is buffed to 9. Because leaving Arjo Thunder as it is doesn't make a sense, because Boulder will be way strictly a better card, just a bit obvious power creep. So Boulder is 7. If the row is full, destroy the enemy instead. Okay, this time I'll go with my rating first. I'm still gonna go with 3 stars, because 7 kind of feels low on end of a removal in terms of potential. But if the row is full, it can destroy the enemy instead, so that's a direct removal. But yeah, but that condition might be hard to fill. Depends. So I'll give it 3. How about you, Strawberry?
I'm gonna give it 2 stars. Like so, again, it's dependent on what the row limit is. So
Yeah.
people have been talking like, yeah, you can play peasant militia and then boulder a high unit, but that requires you playing 2 cards, giving your enemy point. Like you play a card that gives your enemy points. I don't know. I think I give this star card a 2, but we'll see. It could be good.
Alright, so let's move on to the next. Spear, special item. Hold that spear up, weakling, not a single host shall pass. Deal damage equal to the base power of a bronze or silver unit in your hand. Now, this requires a lot of setup around, but it has such a high potential upside that I'm willing to give it 4 stars. Basically, if you are going to have a high strength silver unit anyway, because you'll be probably playing spies, and with the power creep on silver and bronze base strengths, you could easily get a strength over like 12 or 11, and that's like a Manticore Venom on a bronze card, and you can play 3 of them. And if you're playing a control heavy weapon deck, which could be a thing for the Nodolanums, because they can the items out from their units, it has a potential, man. So I'll give it 4 stars.
I'm also gonna give it, I think, 4 stars. I think a lot of people are underestimating this card. A lot of people have been saying that it's bad. I don't know why. Um, pretty much it looks like almost every faction is getting a tutor item card. So you can tutor this out of your deck. I mean, worst case scenario, it's going to be what, like an 8 or a 9 probably. And like you probably shouldn't play this if you're running like a really low base strength unit deck. But I mean, worst case scenario, this is going to be like a 7 or an 8, which isn't awful when you tutor it out of a deck. And best case scenario, you're going to get 11 to 13 points of removal for a bronze card. Like that's really good. So I will do the same and give it a 4. I think this card's
Yeah,
underrated.
And Ivan 4 in chat says you can tutor the spear with a tormented mage and clan protector. Yeah, you're right. So we are counting that potential into our rating. Alright, so on to the next one. So on to the neutral silver. Lesser demons relict. We would rather keep our names to ourselves. Think of us as friends of the house. 9 power. Move a unit from your deck to your hand. Then discard a random card. Yeah. So are you familiar with the lore about this character monsters? Stellabrate?
I think it's from the Heart of Stones. There was these like demon things. Like when you go do the when you go to Iris's house and
Yeah.
you're trying to find out what happened or whatever. I haven't played it in a while, but I remember that cat, the shadow cat and dog were hanging out, being all weird and creepy and stuff. So yeah, that's about as much as I know.
Yeah. And so this is a bit of a spoiler, but you can either choose to free them from the house they're tied to, or decide to not free them, depending on how depending on the decision you finally make with regarding Iris. And I think that's as far as I'm going to say. And move a unit from your deck to your hand, then discard a random card. So it's a gain 1 card and lose 1 card, right? Um. So I'll give it 2 stars. So you are basically getting a card that you want from a deck, and while discarding another. So I'm guessing you can like get a gold unit as well. It's probably you can. Doesn't say whether it's limited to bronze or silver, but if you can get gold, it could be like 3 stars. It's kind of like effect like Joni and Sarah, right? That's what it reminds me of. So I'll give it 2 stars.
Yeah, I'm hovering in the 2 3 star area. So what I'm wondering about the card is if you move the card to your hand and it discards a random card, could it discard the card that you just picked? I
Wow,
wonder.
that could be a thing. Yeah, we are not.
I'm not
Yeah,
I'm
that
not
could be
sure
of
if
the
that's a
mechanic.
limitation on it. So
Yeah,
I don't like the random
random
aspect.
nature. Yeah.
I guess you would probably want to try and play this towards the end of a round or the end of when you have like 2 or 3 cards and you want to pull a strong gold that you haven't gotten yet. But I don't like the random discard nature. It's what players are trying to do when they're playing competitively is get consistency. That's one of the most important things. And this card introduces randomness that I kind of don't really like. If it just discards the crucial card that you pulled? So I'm gonna give it a 2 star.
Yeah. All right. So we cool on that. And yeah, start up. Maybe we can come back on the ratings after like the new year, and we can like have a drinking game, like how many rights we get, how many we got wrong, something like
Yeah,
that. Keep it like a tradition maybe.
yeah, that sounds
It
good
could
to
be a
me,
thing.
man.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the next. Straggleboard. Now this is the card I'm probably the most excited about when it comes to neutral silver, and it has a 10 power. Truth. Each player draws a unit and sets its power to 1. I'm gonna give it 4 stars because obviously this is not an auto include. You need to build your entire deck around it, but it has such an intriguing implication and has such a cool aspect that I'm willing to go through all that trouble to build a deck around and make it viable. So I'm gonna give it 4 stars. You could use it in like a low strength mage control deck, and I think Nilfgaard probably has the biggest potential now with the Bikobre Novice and Bikobre Medi, of course, and you have all that theme going on, and this could be also be used for Scoia'tael as well. So this could spawn new archetypes across factions. That's the potential. Ideally, you want to play like decoy, and you want to be able to resurrect him again to get his ability over and over, so that you are going to make opponents all up into strength 1, while you get a Princess to Freya, right? That's like the maximum potential right there, and it sets its power to 1. So It's amazing. Yeah, I give it 4 stars.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it three. I think it's archetype dependent. It obviously it's very good against certain archetypes. I mean, if mill is still a thing, this is probably like an auto include in a mill deck. But I hope that mill gets crushed in this patch,
Yeah.
personally. So I mean, I hope that's not a thing. But yeah, I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I think the card's pretty archetype dependent.
All right. And this mage belongs to I checked the lore, a country called the Kobir or something like that. So maybe Kobir could be a new faction down the line, but yeah, so
That's one of the rumors for the new factions is
yeah.
Kovir or something like that. We'll see.
So it doesn't really have a affiliation with the major factions, and he had some Russians with Geralt, obviously. Everybody brushes with Geralt once or after in the ritual lore, I guess. Alright, moving to the next. Burgess said Mill is gonna die. Okay, okay,
I
let's
hope
trust the
so.
Burgess word on that. Cursed, Niveler, lost? Well, gonna be lost somewhere else. Somewhere not on my property, that is. Point your left ear onto the sun and keep walking. You hit the road soon enough. Well, what are you waiting for? 10 power, move all units on a row to the random rows. I'm giving it 1 star. Like, I have no idea what because it doesn't affect the strength on the board directly. It has to be in some sort of indirect way. Like you cast the weather there earlier. Now you're moving units in unweathered row to the weathered rows or something like that. Like the stars have to align for this card to work. And so I'm gonna give it 1 star.
I'm first off, boobs and Gwent, finally. God damn it. About time. Also, I think this is a 2 star, and I think that it's very good in a Scoia'tael movement deck, right? So let's say that you are, he has like two doubles on a marksman, and then he plays Zoltan, and then row stacks you, and then he plays this card after he plays Zoltan, and then moves all those cards, and you just get fucked by Doblathana Marksman.
Yeah.
I think this card is only playable in a Scoia'tael movement deck, and that's about it. Otherwise, it's just garbage. So yeah.
So, what silver card could this card replace in that archetypes? Do you think?
Well, so I'm not a Scumatel player, so I'm not that familiar with what sort of silvers they run in their deck. Maybe I don't know, but I mean, this I think this card should be an auto include in a Scoia'tael deck because, like I said, it's such a powerful combo. Even if you only have one marksman on the board, you play Zoltan, you row stack the opponent, and then you play this card, and every single card that they have row stacked is gets moved and gets hit by the Doblathana marksman. And if they're just naturally row stacking, then you play this card first, and then after that you can play Zoltan. Like it's kind of, I think it's going to be really good in that deck, but I think it sucks in pretty much every other deck.
Yeah, I love the chat comment, by the way. Keyhawk 1 star for each boob. Yeah, yeah. So, by that logic, Mandarka would get 3 stars because it has that three, that breasty thing. Yeah, good one, Keyhawk. Alright, let's move on. How do you even pronounce this shit? Portcullis tactic
Yeah,
special.
Portcullis. This card is
Yeah.
a fucking meme. It's garbage. This card is terrible. I give
So
it a 0 stars.
Stellabrate came out of fire and gave it 0 right away. And just to be spicy, I'm gonna give it 1 star because of the meme potential. If the card is boring and just has no good ability whatsoever, we're gonna get a 0 star. But I think this could have meme potential, right?
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. I mean,
I
and you can
I
always
give it.
give it a 0. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, fine. I'll give it a 1 because it has meme potential, right? Like Red Mage Man will be playing this in a deck somewhere, but this card is not competitively viable in any deck
Yeah.
whatsoever. It's just trash. It's a meme card.
So basically, play every card that spawn a random card from your opponent's deck, like Abalak Sage, Portcullis, and use it over and over somehow and repeat the ability. I mean, if every stars align and Blood Moon and White Moon or whatever, or it's a line or perfect line, then it's gonna get perfect value. But yeah, as for now, it's not consistent for the construct play, obviously. And I think this art was used for one of the adventures modes, if I remember correctly, like the vampire one. Yeah, like you are trying to, yeah, vampire was trying to bring down this castle gate or something like that, right? I remember the illustration. Okay. Okay, the card that every Reddit user is talking about, Geralt Eden, Witcher. Mm, 5 power, reset all units and remove their tokens. Um, that's I'm gonna go ahead and say it's 4 stars. 4 stars. Yeah, cause it's a very bad gold top deck, and I think any gold card that is a bad top deck would require some scrutiny. But in probably most cases, this card with some great value, and in many cases it will be just game winning. So I'll give it 4 stars.
I give it 4 stars as well. I think this card's going to be included in a ton of Skellige decks. Its strongest faction is definitely Skellige, obviously because most of Skellige's units are strengthened and they're almost never boosted. So, I mean, this card, when you think about it, can single-handedly destroy like archetypes like Scoia'tael. It's really good against spies. Could be
Consume.
okay against Northern Realms. Yeah, Consume. Oh, it destroys Consume. So I think this card's a solid 4, and it's probably going to be played the most by Skellige.
All right, Geralt, the hired Witcher for Skellige. Geralt has a very good relationship with the Skellige. Apparently, if you play Witcher 3, and yeah, he's like knows everybody in Skellige. Must go there a lot, I guess. Saskia Dragonfire. I inherited my father's ability to assume the other forms. Well, one of the other form in my case. 8 power, banish your hand and draw that many cards. I'll go and say 0 stars. Yeah.
I think this is 1 star. This is a meme card, in my
Right.
opinion.
Yeah, just yeah, bad. I mean, I mistakenly thought that this was a discard your hand and draw that many cards. So I thought this card would be OP in Skellige, right? So I was trying to give it 3 stars. Something like that on my stream, and I realized it was banished, and I was like, I take it back, I take it back. But imagine if this card was a discard your hand and draw that many cards, right? Oh man, this card would be insane in this card Skellige. Yeah, just narrow your hand down to the cards that are going to be discarded. Play this card, then boom, so much value right away.
Yeah, this card's a meme. So
Yeah, it's a banish, so obviously this is meant for the new game mode, and the frustrating part as for us and for the users is that we don't know what the new game mode is going to be, right? So we have no idea how all these cards are going to be utilized in the new game mode. Is it going to be weekly thing? Is it going to be monthly thing? We have no fucking clue. So, alright.
yeah, I understand everybody's frustration with that. I kind of wish they would just give us, it's pretty far along in development, and they're getting a lot of backlash from all these cards they're introducing, and they're saying they're for this new game mode, but they're just
Yeah,
not telling them what it is. I don't see the need for the secrecy, but hey, man, I believe in CDPR, so they've
yeah,
got a plan.
for sure. Alright, the next one, Uma's Curse. I give you these 3 solid traits as fresh as morning dew. The head of my spies and my colors adding my bring this me monsters. Okay, that's the line by Emir when you bring Umar to Emir. So spawn a gold unit and transform into it. I'm gonna give it 2 stars. It could definitely be playable, and I think this card will be better if the gold unit you are transforming into is a neutral. If it's restricted to neutral, like, we don't know what the limitation is going to be. It's going to be across all the factions. It's going to be neutral and your factions, or is it going to be neutral your faction and the faction your opponent is playing, right? And if it's limited to the neutral card pool, you can get a very powerful neutral gold. And depending on the situation, and you can play the right card at the right moment. Let's say you get Geralt Igni and you burn Scorch, their biggest unit or whatever, or you may be playing a Swarm deck and you may haven't drawn to Enifer, and you play Uma and you transform into Enifer, and like that's a possibility, right? And it's a spawn, so you are gonna be given like three choices, and you will rarely get in total of you will rarely get a whole handful of bad choices. So I'll give it 2 stars.
I can give this card 1 star. It's a meme. The randomness doesn't make it viable at all. So, let's say you're sitting there and you're playing the Swarm deck and you really want the Yennefer, and then you play Uma's Curse, and it decides to give you Camby, Rainfarn, and Saskia Dragonfire. What do you do?
Yeah,
You just lose the game?
so I think the card pool should be limited to the neutral, right? And that makes that you make it more sense. Right? For example, how can Uma transform into something like a dragon, for example, right? If you think about it, or like the Chrome Bruise or something like that. Yeah, it should be within a realm of I don't know, feasibility of the kind of things you can turn into. So I would like this card to be limited to the pool of a neutral gold. That will make this card playable. That's my take. You just kill yourself, you rage quit, you pick Camby. Yeah, it's so true. Alright, let's move on to the next. Ciri Nova, Sintra Witcher Doomed. Jiraiya possesses a great power she cannot control. She's a danger to herself to others. Until she learns to control, she should remain isolated. 1 power, if you have exactly 2 card pieces of each bronze card in your starting deck, set power to 25. Okay, I'm gonna go for Haywire here and give it 5 stars. Because the reason being is that it's such a powerful card, and it presents interesting opportunity across all factions to build their deck around it. And have a reliable deck thinning aspect so you can reliably play Ciri Nova as a finisher. Oh man, 12-5 strengths in 1 card without any condition attached. Well, the condition being you need to make your deck starting 2 copies of each bronze. So I'm gonna go with 5 stars. I cannot wait to play this card, man.
I give this card 3 stars. I think it's archetype dependent. You're obviously not going to want to. It's going to either force you to run 26 cards or run 25 cards and not run a silver. I think most people will probably choose 26 cards, but 2 ofs. And that can't fit into something like a Henselt deck. You're never going to run 2 ofs in a Henselt deck, right?
Yeah.
So I think the card's strong and it can fit in a lot of decks. I think it's. Maybe I'll give it a 4 because it can fit in a lot of decks for sure, but I think it's definitely dependent on if you value running 3 of bronzes, and there's a lot of archetypes and decks that kind of value that. So 25 strength for a gold is really good, but I don't know. Yeah, I'll give it 4 stars. It seems like a solid card.
4 stars it is. So Ciri Nova definitely a card to watch out for. What the heck, did the hell freeze over? Yeah, basically, yeah, Ciri can literally freeze a hell. That's what she did to a Wild Hunt in Witcher 3. Yeah, and Trial of the Grasses. Basically this is the trial that's gonna turn you to a Witcher. And basically you don't want to try this at home. Yeah, deal 10 damage to unit unless it's a Witcher. If it survives, boost it to 25 power. Okay. So if you play this on a Witcher, it'll turn into 25 power without doing the damage. So, and if you wanna play this on any other unit, obviously your own unit, right? Because you want it to survive and boost it 25. Or it could be used as a removal and a boosting tool, so one or the other, depending on how you use it. So there's a flexibility right there. If it survives, boost it to 25. Okay, I'm gonna go with 2 stars. I'm giving it 2 because of the card flexibility, And if you cast this on a 11 strength unit, then it's a 14 strength value. Yeah, if the power doesn't get countered. And it's a conditional removal that could be flexible to use when you need to take out the opponent's key unit. But 10 damage is a low end in terms of gold removal, so I'll go with 2 stars.
I'm also I'm gonna give it I think 3 stars. I think it's I like the flexibility, like you said, the damage. You know, sometimes you need to remove a certain unit from the board. Like let's say your opponent played a succubus, and this is literally the only card that you have left, and you have to kill that succubus or you lose the game. You know, that's a situation where the flexibility is really nice with this card. Um, I think that there's a lot of Witcher cards, right? Like Geralt Yurden, for example. It'll be a 20 coin. If you're running Yurden or Igni or whatever, it'll be a 20-point boost, which is nice. You can also use it in conjunction with Quen. So if you hit a Quen unit, like a mercenary or something in Scoia'tael, then it'll be what? The Quen unit will be at 3, so it'll be a 22-point boost, which is nice. So I give it 3 stars. I think it can see play. It's not too bad.
Yeah, I didn't think about that Queen application. That sounds intriguing, for sure. Okay, so next one. Oh, we are done with the neutrals. All right. Okay, Celebrate. What faction do you want to do next?
Northern Realms.
Northern Realms it is. All right, let's go out of it. Uh, okay, here new cards. We'll start with Winch. Tactics Special. It's a winch, not much to flap your jaw about. Spawn a bronze Nether Realms machine and boosted by 2. Oh yeah, since we are doing Nether Realms, Stella, why don't you take the lead? And when we to move on to the next card, or I'm just gonna like move the scroll, so should be fine. Yeah, you take the lead on this one on the Nether Realms part.
Okay. I think Winch is 5 stars. I think this card is broken. I think this card is one of the strongest cards that have been introduced. So you imagine this card in something like a Henselt that, like, it's only obviously you're only going to play it in machines, right? You're not going to play it in any other archetype. But within that archetype, it's a broken card. Um, you're playing Henselt. You winch out a machine. You run 3 of 3 sets of machines in your deck, even 2 of. You could even run 2 of if you want to, and you run 3 of this card. You winch out a card, it gets boosted by 2 for some reason, and then there's only 7 machines, bronze machines to choose from. At least right now. Maybe they'll introduce another one. So you get this card out, and then you can Henselt out 3 more copies of the particular card, provided that you hit it. And if you don't hit it, you're probably just going to winch again. And I'm sure you can. This is a tactics card. You can play it with John the Talus. It's a special card. You can play it with Sheila de Tanzerville. This card is busted, I think. This is one of the most broken cards that they've introduced so far that I've seen. I think this card is absurd, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, and Stellabrate, as we know, is a master of Henselt machine deck, and you should like a global or regular ladder rank 2 with it, or I remember correctly. And yeah, so I'm gonna have to go with the Stellabrate on this. Yeah, I gotta trust the words of the master. I'm gonna go with 5. Yeah, so nothing to add there. I mean, the potential is. I mean, the sky's the limit for the machine Henselt deck. So yeah, can I say? Yeah. Obviously, you don't want to play this in a full test machine deck or auto build machine deck. Yeah, but if you play this in a Henselt deck, actually, this card wouldn't be bad to run in a auto build or full test deck either. But to get the most benefit, you would run in the Henselt deck, I think. Yeah. Moving on to the next. Wait, why is it?
Tormented. Is it?
Yeah, why is it rebirding?
What
Uh,
would you,
okay. I'm gonna close this window and maybe I should pop in, open the new window and click there. Let me
okay.
try. Yeah, think that will do it. Mm. Okay. Alright, we got this back on track. Alright. Tormented Mage.
So obviously they're introducing all these cursed things as an archetype, the new cursed archetype, and I'm getting a little ahead, but they introduced a cursed leader too. So they're introducing a ton of bronze and silvers and whatnot and golds to support this cursed archetype. I think this card's solid. I would give it. I mean, as far as in your Northern Realms decks, it's archetype dependent, right? You're only going to run it in cursed decks, but I think it's a strong card to be running. You can tutor out a spell or an item. It's great, and it has synergy with Cursed Knight, so I'll give it a 4. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think this card's pretty solid.
yeah, I'm gonna give it 4 as well because it has a lot of cards can pull, and you're given a choice that makes it even better. And you can be used in conjunction with Cursed Knight, and also maybe we can use this in a Stellabrate deck. You know, that could be a thing. So I'm gonna give it 4 stars. Yeah, do you see Stellabrate? Damned Sorceresses. Yeah.
The Damn Sorceress. I'm gonna give this like, I don't know, 2 stars maybe. So obviously, if you're running a cursed archetype, this condition's pretty easy to accomplish. I think we need to see a few more of the cards too, but this isn't too bad. It's a 4-7, with a decent removal, but I think there's probably better cards that you can run than this one. I'm gonna give this 2 stars. It's okay.
2 stars. Alright, I'm gonna give it maybe 1 star just to differ from Stellabrate. Yeah, 4 strength bronze that deals 7 damage. Yeah, it's not going to be strong enough, I don't think. Yeah, we just see a lot of power creep on bronze, and sometimes 7 damage is not gonna be enough to take out a opponent's key bronze unit, and in that case, yeah. So I'm gonna call it 1 star.
On to Cursed Knight.
Yeah, we want to Cursed Knight.
So I give Cursed Knight. I'm probably gonna give it like 3 star. It's archetype dependent, right? You're gonna run in a curse deck. So there's interesting applications for it. So if your opponent plays Iris and they don't have a way to kill it in 1 turn, you can actually turn Iris into an 8 strength Cursed Knight. That's kind of hilarious, and it has 2 armor. I think so. If you buff this, you get the buffs too, right? I think that's how this works.
No,
On this unit?
I don't think so. Like,
No, it doesn't say base copy. It just says copy. I think
yeah.
it retains all of its buffs. So this is an interesting application, right? This is a unit that maybe you want to Quen, maybe you want to Dandelion, somehow buff it in your hand. If you can get this unit buffed, it turns into an absurd unit. So maybe I'll give it 4 stars in a cursed archetype. Yeah, if you need to build like supporting cards around it. But even if it isn't buffed, it has really good synergy with Tormented Mage. With Tormented Mage, it's a 14-point bronze.
Yeah.
It counters Iris. I think this is a very solid card, and it will definitely be running in the cursed archetype for sure.
So I'll give it 4 stars as well, as a very cool illustration, and I think the premium art on this one is gonna look cool. And yeah, so basically Tormented Mage is 14 stars, and even on your curse unit that gets damaged, right? You can like get it back to 8 health per se. Let's say you're playing another curse unit like Vincent, and somehow Vincent gets damaged to like smithereens, like 1 to 2 strengths, and you play Cursed Knight on that, and you get your strengths back, and that's a good thing. And yeah, it has some better. If you're only running all the curse units on your Northern Realms deck, I don't know if it is possible at this point, but if you can, then this could be very good in a curse deck. Yeah, for sure. And we are seeing a lot of new country tag, Adrian, right? Because Adrian is it, how do you pronounce it?
It's
Erin?
Adern.
Erin. Okay.
Adern, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and this is a kingdom that was destroyed by Hanzelt, I think, and it just got ripped by both Hanzelt and Nilfgaard, if I remember correctly. So obviously there are a lot of cursed souls in this kingdom, I guess. Hmm. Okay, speaking of Vincent,
Um, I give Vincent 2 stars. He's maybe there'll be cards to support this card, but obviously he fits into an armor archetype, right? But so he like at first I thought this card might be decent, but then I thought about it. So he takes away value from your Dun Bananas. You're going to be running Dun Banner Heavy Cavalry if you're playing an armor archetype. Um, I get it's nice that he removes armor from an enemy, but how many enemy units really play armor? Not that many. I think this card sucks. I'll give it 2 stars.
yeah,
It needs more help. Maybe they'll introduce cards to make it better or something, but it needs something.
yeah. So, mm, yeah, I'm gonna give it 2 stars as well. I guess the what you want to do is play potion that strengthens your units and gives it armor, right? And you play like a 2 Rudanian elite on it, and you remove like 10 strengths worth of armor, and then this unit becomes 13, and it procs the Rudanian elite's ability. So in that scenario, this card is really good, but how often can you realistically get to that scenario, right? Even you are playing that particular build of armor deck. So I'm gonna give it 2 stars. Yeah. Okay, Schubert Rex Vampire.
So I think a lot of people say this card's going to be great in like a 40 card full test. I think this card probably sucks. So there's something you need to consider when you're running 40 card full test. Number one, how are you going to consistently draw this card? You're not because it has the vampire tag, so you can't pull it with reinforcements. If there's a way to tutor this card out, maybe it could be okay. But there's another thing too, like basically you're taking away from a lot of your strength from your hand. It might be good as a finisher, right? Because when you're playing a 40 card full test deck, you're never going to draw through your entire deck. You're always going to finish the game with like anywhere from 10 to 20-ish cards left or something like that. So in that case, if you can use it as a finisher, it might not be bad. I mean, it's pretty vulnerable to scorches. And resets, it's a boost. It's not a strengthen. So it can get reset. Yurden would affect it. Witch Hunters would affect it. I think this card's 2 stars. I think it's not that good. And yeah, that's my opinion.
So how many stars?
2.
2. Okay. I'm gonna give it 1, because it's a classic case of putting all eggs in one basket, right? And when that basket gets spilled, you're going to feel sad. And even in the application where you draw this card in your initial hand, you play it, and if your opponent scorches it or reset it or ignites it, then you just burn the entire Fortress buff of your deck. And the point of playing 40 cards Fortress deck is to make your deck strong across all the cards, and that buff is spread nicely. So in the long round, that strength is going to shine. But if you put all that into this one card, and if it doesn't win you that round, when you play him, then this card is just bad, man. So 1 star. Yeah. And I never suspected this guy to be a vampire when I played the Witcher 3. And then when the twist came, it's like, dang, man. You can never trust anyone. Yeah. And you can check in the illustration that he's checking out the Priscilla right there. So he's a pervert. And there's that too. Let's move on to the next. Everybody's favorite, or I should say fan favorite. Take it away.
Which one's this one?
Saltkirk.
Oh, Selkirk. I like this card. I think this card could be good. So the dual mechanic is you attack a card for your card's value for 7 damage. Then the remainder of the card's strength after you attack it it hits you back for. So let's say you attack a 11-point card. You hit it for 7. It has 4 strength back. Uh, it has 4 strength left. It hits you for 4. This card has 3 armor, so it absorbs it. So it goes to this card goes to 6, and then this kills the it kills the 11 because the 11 only has 4 strength left. I think this card's solid. I love the dual mechanic. I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's one of my probably my favorite mechanics so far that I've seen introduced. Um, this card's solid removal. It really is. It can kill cards like it can target gold, so it can kill cards like Villain Tretmirth. It's on average it can be what like an 18-point card or something like that. Um, I think it's a solid card. I think it's a 4. I like it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give it 4 as well because Northern Realms didn't really have a great direct removal unit. It had a death mode, but that's about it. Can you think of a good removal, gold or silver, like Ivories or Manocom for Northern Realms? No,
I
right?
mean, yeah, the only thing Northern Realms really ran was Scorch, which uh, it doesn't have a body, and Scorch is kind of conditional, right? Yeah, you could Scorch could be bad for you, and then there's Villain Tretmirth, but you have to set up Villain Tretmirth, and he's not a Northern Realms card; he's a neutral, but
Yeah,
a lot of Northern Realms decks run him, and you have to set him up, and it's just yeah, this card's good. It'll definitely help out Northern Realms. I like it.
yeah. Philippa is more of a AOE though, right? And it's not really direct one
So,
target
so
removal.
you
It's not,
you can't
yeah,
reliably you can't almost it would be really hard reliably to use Philippa to like remove something like a Villain Tretmirth, right? If there's 2 units on the board, let's say if there's 2 units, I think she could do it 5, 3, and then 1. So Villain Tretmirth's 11. No, that won't even do it. So yeah, she's not reliable to remove on a high strength unit. This guy is. So I think he's a good tool that Northern Realms kind of needed, and I think I'll see a lot of play. And I just love the dual mechanic. And this guy probably has one of the coolest premiums in the game. The premium's so fucking cool.
yeah. Sorry, I turned off the follow a lot because it's gonna disrupt our review, and I see a lot of followers, and yeah, it's really cool. Thanks for you guys to coming out and watching our stream, and of course, check out Stellabrate stream and follow him as well. And he's a really great player and streamer and really good buddy of mine, and yeah, so that's what yeah, so it feels good, man, and yeah, so yeah, 4 stars. Okay, let's move on. Yeah, such a cool card.
Yeah, absolutely. Northern Realms got a lot of cool cards. Scoia'tael, on the other hand, didn't really, but you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
In Sangpa, are either me or Stella going to stream today? I probably will not because I need to prepare for another project. But Stella Bray will stream his regular Gwent. So
Yeah,
yeah,
after this stream, I will start my stream and we'll put some people in the dumpster, boys. Easy.
yeah. Stella Bray, can you start streaming Gwent right away so that I can host you
Yeah, yeah, I
after
will.
this? Yeah,
Yeah, I will.
let's do that. All right, moving on to the next. Kian.
So Keon, I think this card. I mean, we haven't seen all the items yet. I'm not a fan of this card. I guess it can fit into a cursed archetype. It's a well, okay. So let's think. It's a Witcher and it's 4 strength, so it has synergy with that Trial of the Grasses, because you can buff it to 25. So that's 21-point value with synergy with that. But the card itself, I don't like it that much. It has the spawn mechanic, and a lot of people don't generally like the spawn mechanic. So the spawn mechanic is nice for a card like Winch because Winch only has 7 cards that it can pull from. So it's not. It is a little bit RNG, but it's really not. Especially if you're running a few Winches, you have to be the unluckiest person in the world to Winch 3 times and not get a machine that you like. And even if you do get there's no absolutely terrible machine that you're going to get. Kian, a bronze or silver alchemy card. Does that include all the factions? Um, I don't like that. And
Yeah, that's
bronze or silver item.
yeah.
I give this 2 stars.
Yeah, 2 stars. Yeah, the CDPR should be really clear about that. Like, does it spawn a card for across all factions, or is it gonna be limited to neutral and your own faction? Like, we need to be clear about that, so that we really so that we can get a good idea what how spawn with this gonna be. And yeah, I'm gonna give it 3 stars. And people are underestimating the power of a discover mechanic. They say, oh, it's too RNG, or you're gonna get bad result and you're gonna feel sad. but the upside is strong, and the chance of you drawing discovering a card that will not find any use for is very low. And if you play Hearthstone and you know kind of what I'm talking about, and there will be infamous moment in Gwent where the caster is gonna yell, "Oh, he exactly needed one card to spawn, and he spawned it," or some shit like that, right? And we are gonna have that infamous broadcasting moment, and I don't know if that's what CDPR wants. If that's what they want, then they'll get it. But yeah, so it has a and there are a lot of good items we are getting right now, and the more better item cards will come. So I'll give this card 3 stars. The only thing that preventing this card from getting even higher is because its strength is very low at 4 strength. So 4 strengths that spawns a random bronze or silver alchemy card that kind of sounds like a silver card, and 4 strengths is not really fit for a gold card. It's just not strong enough. So I'll give it 3 stars.
Next is Vandergrift, I think, and a lot of
Yeah,
people
Vandergrift.
are going crazy about this card because people look at Ragnarok and they think like people have PTSD about Ragnarok, right? Like they think Ragnarok and they're like, oh god, it's basically it's just a fog, right? You need to think about it like fog instead of Ragnarok. So this unit will kill damage all enemies by 1, and if a unit's destroyed, it'll apply Ragnarok to a row. I think this is a strong card. I really do. So just off the strength and damage alone, it's probably going to be a pretty solid card. You know, the condition to get the fog is kind of hard. It'll be good against swarm decks for sure. Maybe it'll have synergy with Peasant Militia, right? Because Peasant Militia is going to spawn a bunch of 1s on a row, and you can kill all them. I mean, you could flood people's rows with 1s and then kill a bunch of units and then Bloody Baron. But
yeah,
I think this is a solid card. I give it 4 stars. I think it's going to be pretty good. We'll see though.
And I'm gonna give it 3 stars. The potential is amazing, but it's gonna require a lot of setup. And Nodo Realms doesn't really have any movement cards, so if your opponent is only row stacking, then you cannot really apply Ragnarok to the all rows. Ideally, you want to apply the Ragnarok effect to at least 2 rows, right? When you use this unit. And
oh, dude, then you just play the naked 10 chick, easy.
Yeah.
Neutral movement.
Oh,
No, I'm kidding.
okay.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't do that.
So this is obviously a strong power creep, way better card than the rebuild siege unit that does 1 damage across if it gets rebuilt, or hefty Hellgate or something like that. And you can basically throw that card to the dumpsters. Nobody's playing it anyway. Yeah. Oh, the card that everybody's hating on right now, Ada.
I mean, I personally don't like this card at all. I hate that it. I think this card would be fine if it was just a gold card or whatever. But although I guess technically Keon is. I know Keon's not a unit, so I think this could be a gold card and it would be okay. This card kind of enrages me a little bit. The fact that it's a leader. So people are going to be like, this is supposed to be the card that's supporting the leader that's supporting the cursed archetype, right? A lot of times you make leaders to support archetypes for the most part. There are some leaders who kind of fit in nicely everywhere, like Full Test or, Radovid can fit in a lot of places. But like Henselt, he's for machines mainly, right? Mm-hmm. This leader looks like it's supposed to be supporting curse. I hate this. A bronze or silver curse unit. Do you know how many bronze or silver curse units there are in the game? They haven't even revealed all the cards. There's probably going to be more to be revealed. I think there's like 25 or 30 or some absurd number like that. And it's like, okay, let's say you're playing a mirror match and you both have Ada and you spawn just a fucking Arcaspore and then an Iris and then some other thing at the start of the game or whenever you play it. It's just some dog shit. And then your opponent spawns like, they get like a Morkvarg or an Olgierd or some like really great unit.
Yeah.
I hate the spawn pool for this card is insanely large, that it's going to make it infuriating. Yeah, a lot of the times it's not going to be like the card could it looks kind of good actually. It's got high power for a leader. But I just don't like the ability, man. I don't like there's going to be times where they're literally praying on a miracle. They need one card out of like a pool of 30 and they're going to pull it and you are going to fucking rage, dude. You're going to smash your keyboard, you're going to punch through your monitor, and it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. You'll probably get addicted to drugs and ruin your life. So this
Yeah.
card is just, yeah, that's my opinion.
So how many stars?
I mean, so I think it is going to be played. That's the thing that kind of
Yeah.
frightens me. I think it's going to be played quite a bit on the ladder. And I think we're, thousands of times a day, people are going to run into that exact situation where they're going to get fucking just wrecked by, the 5% chance. So, I mean, power wise, the card's a 3 or a 4, probably a 4. It could be a very powerful card. Like if you sit there and you spawn, it supports your archetype. It's you spawn a card like Morkvarg or Olgierd or whatever. It's huge.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll give the card. I think the card's pretty powerful. I'll give it a 4, but I don't like it at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna give 4 stars. I'm gonna give it 3 stars on the power level, but I'm with the Stellabrate on that this card's build is boring and we do like to see something unique. And basically, when you're building your deck around your leader, you want your leader to be reliable. You don't want your leader to be high rolly, right? For example, when you're playing a Crack and Cray, he's getting you Olgir, he's getting you Morkbar, he's getting you Janga Fed. When you're playing Handelt, you know that you'll be able to at least get 1 bronze unit and get 2 most of the times. And the thing with the most leaders is that it either really makes you that strong or it thins your deck, right? Makes your deck more efficient and makes you basically strategy stick and work. And other, she can really make your strategy broken and go for even higher because it's just random and shit. Or she can just unrail you everything that you're planning. So, and you want that on a leader? I'd say not, right? So, yeah. All right. So,
Someone in chat just asked what spawn means. So spawn means that you play the leader, and out of every single bronze and silver cursed unit in the entire game through all the factions, it will randomly pick 3 of them, and it will present you with a choice of 3 cards out of that pool randomly. They're unique, so you can't like pull 3 of the same, but it will give you 3 different bronze or silver cards out of that pool, and then it will you get to choose one and play it. So it's literally like extraordinarily random. And a lot of people play this game because they don't like that. And I get they're introducing a lot of random cards for the new game mode, but when you put randomness on a leader card, that kind of you know sucks, in my opinion. But you know what? I believe in CDPR, so I think it'll all work out in the end. We'll see.
yeah. So, yeah. So, discover mechanic. And I want to add something here. It's kind of interesting because Hearthstone is kind of getting Granty in a way because their new recruit mechanic kind of reminds me a lot of the monster effect that we have on Gwent, right? Now Gwent is sort of adopting that mechanic that is overused in Hearthstone, which is Discover, and basically putting another name on it, like Spawn, and it's kind of like the line is getting a little bit blurry between Hearthstone and Gwent. What do you say, Celebrate?
Um, well, I guess I never played Gwent, so or not Gwent. I never played. I
Why are you
never.
here? Why are you here if you never played
Yeah,
Gwent?
yeah, yeah. I never played Hearthstone, so I'm not someone who can really give an opinion on that. I tried out Hearthstone 3 times. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
So I don't know a whole lot about the mechanics and all this stuff in the game there.
yeah,
But I don't like the direction that some of the spawn cards are. I
yeah,
think if it's a spawn card that pulls amongst a small pool, that's okay.
yeah,
But if it's like a card like this that can pull out of a card like 25 or 30 card pool, it gets kind of ridiculous in my opinion.
yeah. Alright. Okay, so that's it for the nodal realms, I think. Yeah, and now let's move on to Scoia'tael. Since Stellabrate, this is his favorite faction, Notable Elements. It's only my right to defend my favorite faction against the persecution of Notable Elements, Handelt and Radovid. So I'll lead on the Scoia'tael here on the faction. Okay, let's turn that down. Notable Elements. Alright, half elf hunter, soldier elf. Hated by men, reviled by elves, and always picked last during schoolyard games. No wonder half elves tend to have a chip on their shoulder. 4 stars in my book. The 12 strength across 2 bodies is nothing to snip yet because it spawns a copy of this unit. And this unit will get even better with the hand buffs and Evoris. And this will be pretty good in the mechanic as well. Let's say if you just buff this once with the Evoris hit, it's gonna come out as a 14 strength when you play it. And that's pretty damn good. And it's gonna support your swarm if you're gonna go into swarm way with the Scoia'tael. And it has that it's gonna indirectly buff synthesis is the dragon god, right? So it's gonna be very strong for the elf deck, and I love all the elf deck and dwarf decks out there on Scoia'tael. Actually, I don't like the movement deck that much because I don't really like to use global weather, but yeah, this is definitely 4 stars in my book. Yeah, Stellabrate.
So does this card, it spawns a base copy or a copy of the card?
It says spawn a copy, and I'm not sure. If it gets. So the same thing with the Curse Knight, I guess, right? If it keeps the boosted power and spawns a copy of it, then yeah.
Okay, so I'm not looking at the website you're looking at. I'm looking at the Plague Gwent. So the Curse Knight specifically says into a copy. It doesn't say base copy. This one says base copy. If this one's base copy, I give it 3 stars. If it's a copy, then I give it like 4 stars for sure. If it's a base copy, I give it like, I don't know, 2 or 3 stars. But if it's a copy, I give it 4. So I'm not sure how it works.
Because there's no reliable way to strengthen the base strength of this unit. All the elf buffs are pretty much hand buff boosting, so that's fair. Yeah. So.
Oh, it's base copy confirmed by Burza. Okay, well then I give it like, I don't know, 3 stars, I guess, maybe.
Yeah. I'll stay with the 4 because I guess I just love Scoia'tael. I'm gonna be a bit biased, I guess. Alright, Panther. I don't know why the hell is Panther a thing.
That card's garbage.
4 power, deal 7 damage to an enemy on a roll with less than 3 units. So basically, a worse version of Cursed Sorceress, right? It's way too situational.
Yeah, this card sucks.
On a roll with less than 3 units. I guess the only use it's going to have is basically on a Nilfgaard spy, it kills Imperial Enforcers. Maybe Panthers and the Cursed Sorceress is gonna move spies out of the meta. I don't know. It just kills Enforcer right away, right?
Okay, so I see it. I see a lot of people. Okay, I see a lot of people in chat saying stuff about take my ratings of this faction with a grain of salt, because I literally never ever play this faction ever. Yeah, if you can look at my Gwent profile and go and see how many games I've played with this faction. So yeah, that's what I'm just gonna say there. This card's dog shit. This card sucks dick. It's 1 star. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So I think we can move on.
All right. Elven Scout Soldier Elf. They say elves leave no tracks in the snow, but if you ask me, they're just a pack of village idiots babbling nonsense. Okay. Spanos Bronze Scoia'tael unit that is not in your starting deck. That's interesting because you are basically limiting the pool, right? That is not in your starting deck, and so basically you're pretty much able to spawn whatever you want to spawn. But I guess my reasoning is that if you wanna spawn that unit, why not just play that unit instead? It just befuddles me.
This card's terrible too. This card's awful, and this is a reason why I think a lot of Scoia'tael players are all like pissed off. Because, dude, you guys are getting fucked, man. The majority of your guys' cards fucking suck. Mahakam Horn's pretty good, I think, and I
Yeah.
think Polly Dahlberg could be okay. But well, I mean, we'll go over those in a little bit. But man, a lot of the Scoia'tael cards suck.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 0 star because I just hate the design of this card, man. Sure, it might be good because it's a 2 strength body in addition to the unit you're going to spawn, but what the hell, man? You need to build your deck around this shitty concept? Give me a break. I'm gonna give it 0. Yeah. Celebrate? You're gonna how many stars are you going to give? 1, 2?
This is 0. This card's
Yeah.
terrible. It's,
Alright.
I mean, it's not good. I mean, so that's the thing they've been talking about too. I think a lot of these cards are for the new game mode, and that's one of the things, like I said before, that frustrates so many people just because we don't know what the new game mode is.
Yeah.
So I think a card when we look at these cards that we obviously can tell are never going to be competitively viable at all unless they like drastically change the card. You can probably safely assume it's going to be for the new card mode, which a lot of people have speculated is going to be some sort of draft mode or something like that, which I think is probably accurate. All right, I think we can move on from that pile of shit card.
Yeah. And this is not impressive either. Million Elf. Firepower, deal 4 damage to the units at the end of a roll. So it's a 13 strength max, and it's very conditional. But you need to have 2 units in a row that is 4 strengths or above to get a full value. So, fuck this card. Sorry.
That card is terrible.
1 star.
The card
1
is
star,
so
1 star,
bad.
1
The card
star.
is so bad.
Yeah.
It is so bad.
I mean, even if it's getting a full value, it's 13 strength silver. It's 13 point silver.
Which
Why
is
the hell
the
would you
card-
play 13 point silver?
It's
It needs
it's
new
terrible.
meta. Yeah.
It's terrible.
So, I'm gonna give it 1 star for the illustration. She looks cool. Alright. So I'll just say put 0 on you there. That's fine.
Just zero stars.
okay,
Just
alright.
yeah, this is just terrible card.
Yeah.
I don't even see how it'll be used in draft mode. Like you can look at a card like the Elven Scout, I guess, but this card's just not good. I mean,
Yeah.
so when I say the card's terrible, I'm not saying like the art or anything like that's terrible. I'm saying it's terrible for competitive play, by the way. So I'm not saying like, oh yeah, the person who designed this card's terrible. I like a ton of the card art, but for competitive play, this card is not good. So that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
Can definitely say it's just terrible. What can you
So-
say? What?
Yeah.
So okay, so this card is definitely getting printed, right? They're putting on the website and everything. So
I mean, the
Yeah.
numbers are probably gonna get tweaked. I don't see how they let this card through with these numbers. It's a very highly conditional. Well, it's not highly conditional, but it's a pretty conditional silver with. And if you hit the condition perfectly, it's 13 points. That's awful. You don't want your silvers to be 13 points.
Oh, yeah.
It's just not good.
yeah, I moved on to the Berger character, Popko.
Oh, Burza.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So this is going to get printed, and 5 power, play a random bronze or silver item from your deck. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. Yeah. The reason being is that you already have a lot of bronze units that play item or special from your deck. And 5 strengths on a silver body just to pull bronze or silver item from your deck doesn't really sound that strong to me, but it's a good effect. It's powerful. It's just not broken or anything like that. It's just fair. So I'm gonna give it 3 stars. And I guess Borja will hate me for that saying this 3 stars. Maybe I should give it 5. If I give it 5 stars, maybe Borja will invite me to challengers in the future or some shit. I have no clue. And yeah, it's just. Personally, I love the idea that CDPR is gonna print a card like this and put it in the game, because at the end of the day, it's a game, right? And we should be able to have fun with it, and it's fun to see how developers having fun with it too. And yeah, and that's what I got to say.
I'll do the same. I'll give it 3 stars. I think it has really good synergy with an item like Mahakam Horn. We haven't gone over Mahakam Horn, but that's a pretty good item. So it can definitely have some synergy in decks, but yeah, I mean it's dependent on what what items you're running and whatnot. It'll probably see some play.
Put you on the show next time, Lord Byro. Yeah, maybe next time, man. Yeah. Okay. Definitely more cooperation project with me and Stellabrate are gonna be coming, so I look forward to that. And Polly the Halberg support dwarf movie as it's a plowing trap for power. Resurrect a non-support bronze dwarf. Shit, this is legit. This is legit. So I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I mean, I guess non-support bronze dwarf is basically every dwarf that is not bopping, like a Markham guard, because Markham guard bops your units, right? And what's the other a bronze dwarf that's moving your units across? I don't know the name of the dwarf, but they may
The Dwarven Mercenary.
is a dwarf mercenary supported as well.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
those two are excluded, so you're getting maybe. Yeah, I like this implication because you can play this card for a carryable with the Markham Defender. And you can resurrect this guy with Hattori. You can Barclay else it.
No, it's bronze, right?
No, I'm talking about you Barclay and
yeah, right.
So imagine
Right.
that. So imagine you play Blue Hook, you Barclay, and you get this guy, and you spawn another guy. How much strength is that? That's like a 20 point swing with just one card across like.
Well, this is a res, right?
Oh shit! Sorry. So this is red. So yeah. So you definitely don't want to play this when there's no unit to be resurrected. So you don't want to play risky into playing back players. Okay, let me correct that. But even then it's still a 4 stars card. I would say. Yeah, I mean.
I think it's good in Marauder decks. The doors that get buffed or whatever, and then they get boosted by 2 every time. I think it'll be played in those decks. I think it's a solid card too.
Alright, so the chat is saying I cannot get pyros and agitators, but Markham Guard is apparently a soldier, and so is a mercenary. That's interesting. I figured the Markham Guard will be a supporter because you're bopping a dwarf for your ally, and yeah, apparently, but that doesn't really change the position of this card. It's just pretty damn solid. So what was your rating again for?
I give it a 4, yeah.
Yeah, 4, yeah.
Solid card for sure.
Yeah, solid card. On to the next. Markham Horn. Choose one, spawn a bronze or silver dwarf, or strengthen a unit by 7. So it's so it has the flexibility and spawn a bronze or silver dwarf. Okay, so I'm gonna give it 3. I'm giving it 3 just because of the random nature of a spawn of bronze or silver dwarf. Okay, let's say you're playing you're filling all of your deck with the dwarf units. You play Dennis Kramer, and you somehow get Dennis Kramer as a choice on when you play Markham Horn. And double bob on your dwarf after that, and you mill by it and you play decoy on it, and all your dwarfs are like what? Now like 10 or 11 strength or shit like that. In the implication, it'll be amazing, but other than that, I mean, really, just the card for card, right? It's just card for a bronze, just card for silver, and it doesn't get anything more than that. And as for the strengthening unit by 7, so when you're into the bleeding round, you can do that. When you're into the bleeding round, you play this unit on your dwarf, and you resurrect him with the poly. So this option is definitely good, but it's not going to be used all the time. Most of the time you're going to use it for the spawn of bronze or silver dwarf. So I'm going to give it 3 stars. Yeah.
I'm going to give it 4 stars. I think it's a really good item. It has synergy with Popco Gale. Spawning a bronze or silver dwarf is kind of ridiculous, right? Like if you get a card like Barclay Els, that's kind of insane. It gives you flexibility. If you want to strengthen a unit, you can strengthen a unit and then res it later with Polly Dahlberg. Strengthen a dwarf, obviously you would strengthen. I think it's a really good card. It's going to see a ton of play in all the dwarf decks, so I think it's a 4.
Yeah. Alright, moving on to the next. Isengram Outlaw. Yeah, choose one. Spawn a silver special card or spawn a silver Scoia'tael unit. Isengram Outlaw. Silver special card. I'll give it 4. Yeah. The reason being is that, yeah, and you can really go with other depending on the situation, and you can even find a better card that just fits the situation. And that upside is just so amazing. And yeah, I just have to go with the 4.
I will go with a 3. You're right. There is a lot of upside in a card like this. Maybe it's probably is closer to a 4 when I think about it, because like there's no you get a choice from 3 silver special cards. One of them's probably going to be useful to you on your board state, or 3 silver Scoia'tael units, one of which will probably be pretty useful. I think that it's going to be really hard to brick a card like this, like really hard. So I think it's probably a 4.
Yeah, and to add to that, this card will be a never bad top deck. Like, so many goals can be a bad top deck in the last round, right? Because their stat is so tied to their ability that their base strength cannot be higher than 5 or 6, and this will only always net you good value. So yeah, so I mean, a gold card that doesn't really depend on the situation to be good is pretty damn good, man. So okay, now I think we are done. We have 2 more gold to go with Scoia'tael. Xavier, 5 power, 9 power. Boost this unit by the starting power of the last drop you played. I'll give it 2 stars. It's an amazing finisher, but other than that, it's just a par. So yeah, I'll just go with 2 stars. Yeah, it can help you tempo out in the first or second round, but any gold or silver card can do that, or even better, right? And it just boosts this unit by starting power the last turn you play. The ability kind of sounds meh, so I'll give it 2 stars. But if you use it as the last round, then that's when this card really shines.
I think this card sucks. So, I'll give it. I don't know. I mean, so what's the best case scenario for this card? What's the highest strength? What's the highest strength dwarf?
I think it's like 8 and 9, or around the line of along the line of Dennis Kramer. There's a Cleaver that's like 9.
Okay, well, so here's another question too. Does it take base power, or does it take the current power of the card? So if the card is buffed in your hand, that's an important distinction. I'm not sure.
But it says the starting power, so I'm inclined to believe that it's the best strengths that the units are given when they're put into the deck. So that's what the starting should mean, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Well, no, because when you think about it, like let's say it's making that distinction, because let's say you play a dwarf and then you buff it and then you play this dude, like you buff it with a non-dwarf card and then you play this dude. Technically, he would be higher. So I'm not sure. I guess I'm getting a little bit too into it, but if it's base power, this card sucks. If it's starting power, this card gets slightly better. I still think it's not good. I'm gonna give it like 2 stars, just like you said.
Yeah, and we are not really 100% sure what the starting power means. So yeah, it's kind of a lot of fuzzy on the keywords and shit. Yeah. So we are done with the Scoia'tael.
Thank God.
Yeah.